Good morning, my brothers and sisters, and all my friends. This morning we are going to talk about the process of the change we are seeking, the change we are looking for. And the change we are looking for is for our collective welfare, for the Jagat Kalyan, for the whole humanity. And it's not only for the humanity, it is to save Earth, the whole atmosphere, the total biosphere which sustains life on Earth. And if we miss this chance, we will have no second chance available to us. Because once we destroy the planet Earth, our own life-sustaining planet, the living planet, then all around us, we won't be able to find a home for humanity in the solar system or beyond. And it will be the end of the hard work of the universe for billions of years. It will be undoing, we will be undoing the great work of, we can call that God, or we can call that universe, or we could call that Mother Nature, or we could call that Supreme Consciousness, which is universally benevolent and working hard for every moment for billions of years. My dear brothers and sisters, don't you think that we have a cosmic responsibility? Don't you think that we could afford to go beyond our personal existence? We can afford to go beyond. We have the power and the potential. We must go beyond our personal interests, our personal existence. What I mean by going beyond our personal existence, that we must recognize this great need, this great call of the 21st century, that we all think in terms of collective existence, that we all think the whole world as a global village, as one united earth. And not that I'm trying to push this. These symbols are already here. We have already created the global brain by interconnecting all the brains, all the minds, majority of the minds, human minds, through the internet, in the cyberspace. We could afford to think collectively, and not only in dream, virtually, but we could afford to think collectively in physical reality, because we have the access, global access to our thought, to our word, and through our deed. The science and technology has made that possible, that access. Not only that we could travel that fast, that we could travel all around the earth so quickly, which used to take months and years in old times. So the distances have been shortened. The distances have become so small that we could afford to complete our Earth travel all around the planet within a week. Isn't that great? But beyond this, we have now access to the whole humanity. Every person has access to the collective mind, to the global mind of humanity, through our thought, word, and deed. And this is also given to us by Mother Nature. This is the evolutionary mandate. We have already created the global village. We have already created the global mind through the internet. And through empathy, through universal empathy, we could create a non-local consciousness. What I mean by non-local consciousness, with the help of our evolutionary gift of mirror neurons, we can come out of our individual, personal boundaries, and we could enter into someone else, and we could feel the pain of that person out of us. This is non-local consciousness. This is the greatest gift, evolutionary gift by Mother Nature to us, to develop the non-local consciousness. And we could strengthen this non-local consciousness by subscribing to the universal empathy. So we need the first stepping stone towards the 21st century's heaven on earth through the universal empathy. And this non-local consciousness now has the access. Isn't that incredible that the science and technology has made available, that we could see a tsunami happening in Japan or in Indonesia or in Sri Lanka, and we could feel the pain virtually through television, through the broadcasting of that event. And in our home, in security of our home, thousands and thousands of miles away, we could feel the pain and suffering of those people involved into that tsunami, that natural catastrophe, the natural calamity, the suffering of another human being thousands of miles away. My dear brothers and sisters, we have the access now. We could increase the circle of compassion, and we could embrace the whole planet, because every person, every human being is empowered by the science and technology to have access to the global happenings and events, to the global mind, to the global humanity, and increase the circle of compassion through strengthening our universal empathy. And when we will strengthen our universal empathy, the Vaishnava Bhava, then our mind will shade off the ego. The greatest problem with our mind is that we are so self-possessed. We only think about our welfare, personal welfare. And we are suffering from the pandemic of individualism, And this is the greatest disease of the human mind, when you deny the collective welfare. When you deny the collective welfare, when you deny the suffering of other people, because you are so locked into your self-consciousness, you are so locked into your selfish nature, your personal profits. Believe, my dear brothers and sisters, believe me, you are suffering. You are ill. You may call yourself anybody, a tycoon, a great writer, a great artist. But if you are suffering for individualism, and if you are trading the collective welfare, if you are replacing the collective welfare in place of only for your personal gains, if you are so possessed by your personal profits, believe me, you are suffering. You are going against evolution. The greatest attitude, evolutionary attitude of the human mind is that we learn through our mirror neurons. When we feel the suffering of another human being, that shows us that our welfare lies in the collective welfare. Sabke bhale mein mera bhala. The time when we think like this, that my interest will be taken care of automatically if everybody is happy. If there is a heaven on earth, then don't you think that somebody will stop us to enjoy the heaven? That's the illusion. That's Maya. And this great golden jug of human mind, which in the previous talks, in fundamentals, we talked about the leaking bottom. We built the leaking bottom with 5 metals. And we made it rust-free, which will last for ages. But the top, the mouth of this jug, golden jug, is covered with the lid of golden lid, the Maya, the lid of the Maya. Till you don't take away this personal profits and personal Maya, till you have this attitude that me first, then you are under illusion. You are working under Maya. You are agent of Maya. You are hand of a grand illusion. And believe me, you are hand of devil. Because the grand illusion of Maya is not the truth. The truth is that everybody's welfare is guaranteed in the collective welfare. When the whole village will be happy, when I could work for the collective welfare, for the whole town, for the whole humanity, do you think the humanity will deny me the pleasure of being happy? No, my dear friends. This is the illusion. So, my dear brothers and sisters, we have to identify and we have to apply these fundamentals to find the solutions. So the very first solution is that we have to replace our attitude, mental attitude, which is self-possessed and which is imprisoned in the self-consciousness of my profits, my welfare, and my children welfare. This is all a grand illusion. We have to replace this that we work for the collective welfare, and our welfare is guaranteed, that we work collectively for the children of all the sentient beings and all the whole humanity. The welfare of our children will be guaranteed. And what good it is that if we create an ecosystem of economics of scarcity, where only 5% or 1% of the people have all the resources, and 99% people don't have. That's not the right civilization. Doesn't matter what we call, doesn't matter how we define it, doesn't matter how we justify it. But the truth is that we are under the grand illusion of this so-called great civilization. We need to transcend this caterpillar consciousness, this worm's eye view. Because for a worm, just a small little hole is the whole universe for that worm. We are suffering from the worm's eye view. The individual worm's eye view. So we need to transcend that. We need to transcend the self-consciousness into the cosmic consciousness, into the non-local consciousness. So from the human animal, we have the potential and power to transcend into cosmic consciousness and the universal being. From the territorial being to the universal being, with the help of our mirror neurons. We could strengthen the mirror neurons by practicing three great steps, which are the dan, charity, the dham, the discipline, and daya, the kindness. Now the discipline, the dham and dan, these 3D have the greatest mystery, these three steps for the human mind. That I'll be the steadfast on my dharma of the universal empathy. And when I say I'm kind, then why I have to be kind to my child and my family only? Why can't I be kind to the whole village and the children of the whole village, of the whole humanity? Why I have to be so poor? Why can't I be generous? So I extend the circle of my compassion to include everybody. And for that, I have to have the discipline, the dham. So daya, dham, and dan. And dan is when I let go of my personal profits, when I let go of the attitude of my personal security and the personal profits. Then I could think of transcending the territorial being into the universal being. So my brothers and sisters, we have to strengthen our apparatus of mirror neurons. So this is the first solution. How we are going to move step by step to build the ecosystem of peace, progress and prosperity on the planet Earth and all around us, wherever we live. So strengthening and empowering the mirror neuron apparatus by practicing universal empathy we will be able to one day extend our circle of compassion so big that we will be able to embrace the whole universe within our heart. And that must be the goal, and that must be the attitude of every human being on planet Earth for 21st century. And that is the first stepping stone for 21st century for our evolutionary work. Thank you very much, and have a very, very beautiful day.